I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with Joanne Carter. She is an educator who has applied her unique skills to create her most recent work, Longevity Tips for Seniors, simple strategies to improve health, nutrition, and increase mobility. She is passionate about enhancing functionality and facilitating learning. She presents an informative and educational approach in her book, designed to guide seniors towards healthier, more fulfilled lives. We're delighted to have Joanne join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel. Joanne, thanks so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's inevitable, the march of time. We all don't see it in ourselves, but the world around us is getting older. So we've got to be prepared. What are some of those? What are the three best tips you have for us aging seniors?
Well, one is to keep track of yourself. If you have a problem in a particular area, start to count it or write it down so that you can address it and figure out where it's coming from. And going to the doctor often does not mean that you are, oh, I have to go for my checkup. You should go there and discuss things. Maybe you can drop one of your medications. I've gone from like 8 medications to 3.
Great.
I'm looking forward to 1.
Yeah.
And my health, my blood work is beautiful and all of that, just as a result of going back to the basic things that many of us already knew when we were 5,
Right.
but taking care of our kids and everybody else's kids, and then everybody else, and then we get to us as women anyway. And in general as adults, because the guy's working, he comes home, he wants to just sit down.
Right.
He's not
Exactly.
thinking about, oh, I got to go to the gym before I go home to my 4 kids.
Yeah.
So, so in the middle there, we sort of lose track of those basic habits of
Right.
getting outside, uh, keeping our hands and our mouths clean,
Right.
in terms of food and what we touch and
Right.
stuff like that. Just basic common sense stuff. And a lot of that came up when I was researching
Mm.
because we all age kind of differently. So you have Jimmy Carter, who's 96. Well, believe he's 99 now, and still doing Habitat for Humanity.
Right.
And then you have Ronald Reagan at 70, who's a little more out there,
Right.
got a
Right.
little more
Clint
early
Eastwood directed
onset.
movies at 93,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Right. So, you know, we all age differently, and we have to kind of keep track of where that is going
Yeah.
so that we could look at where we should be and get back within the guardrails. And
Exactly.
sometimes that requires talking to your doctor, like maybe one of these meds is not letting me sleep, because sleep is one of the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And being active mentally, not with calculus or going over your old chemistry notes or whatever, but being active in terms of learning something new or doing
Right.
something different, um, which is kind of what became my goal in my life, was to do all the things that I couldn't do or didn't know how to do, because now I don't have to go to work.
Right.
And except for the grandbabies that I spoiled to death whenever possible, like everybody else, you
Yeah.
know, that's all I have to do. And I found that I'm embracing that because it's bringing me pleasure. It's bringing me
Yeah.
a feeling of achievement. And I know what I'm putting out there is educational. It's not tainted. It doesn't have opinion. It just says, well, try this, or I tried this and this worked. And there's 2 or 3 different ways you can help a person get past those things. And one is to tell them what to do. Well, why don't you do it this way? That doesn't work.
Right.
You know, um, but have you ever thought about trying this? And being like somebody who knows everything. But I did genuinely look up the things I was concerned about in terms of how to maintain my health for the rest of the time that I'm walking this planet. And I mean to
Right.
be walking, because I don't like
Right.
to not be able to get up. That scares me. So also you get in touch with how you feel and what's happening to you as an adult and as an older person, and are other people perceiving you differently? Because sometimes, one of my kids thought I couldn't handle cooking at night because I forgot about something on the stove. Right away they jump to, so you have to know where you're at so you can
Right.
tell them what you need. Because moving that box, they're not living in your house anymore.
Right.
And maybe you shouldn't be lifting that box.
Right. Right.
And I have those kind of problems. And we went to physical therapy and I learned all those techniques that didn't require extra material to buy or equipment. And and we're low cost. You didn't have to join the gym, get transportation, all that stuff. So if you can do a lot of it yourself, you
Yeah.
just have to be directed where to go. Because
Exactly.
actually it's within all of us. We grew up that way. We knew when to go outside. We knew before dinner we washed our hands, you know,
Mhm.
etc. All the routines. But there are routines in life too. And
Mhm.
mental health is a big one. Doesn't mean you have to go to therapy. Just have to really be in touch with somebody
Yeah.
that you can be open and honest with, or be that open and honest with somebody, if not your maker or whatever you believe.
Right.
But it's fine. You have to confront where you are and then look at what's the pathway to get here,
Mm.
because very often there is one, and I found it's not really that long a pathway.
Yeah.
It's a lot simpler than you thought it was going to be. You just dreaded going. So
Exactly.
our attitude matters too.
Yeah.
How we feel. We don't have to be belligerent. Oh, you're prejudiced against us because we're old.
Right.
But you should be aware that people are a little biased and not get angry. Just relax. Like I
Right.
say sometimes to the people online in the grocery store, at 70, I'm not in a rush
Right.
to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Nothing. I'm not driving that fast. If
Right.
80's not good enough for you, and I'm telling on myself, I'll pull over and you can go ahead.
Right.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm working
Yeah.
steadily, and the book should be out. I have an author's website. It'll
Hmm.
say author Joanne Carter. It'll be about 3 weeks before that's up. So I'm looking
Wonderful.
forward to. I'm republishing it because I see some spacing errors and one or two spelling errors, regardless of how many times it was edited. So we're perfectionists.
Yep.
That's what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's
No,
all it's all good advice that you give. I do think that maintenance is important, right? To keeping the machine active, walking if you
absolutely.
walk, try
And
not to
moving.
surrender to
Yeah.
the aches and pains. Clint Eastwood, I talked about him a little bit before. He was asked,
Right.
how does he keep on going at 93? And he I think he told Rob Lowe, he said, I never let the old guy in. So, at 93 years old, he doesn't really
Oh, I like that.
acknowledge
Yeah.
that he's an
I'll
old
let him in.
man.
Now I'll do you later. Yeah, you can come in later.
Yeah,
Not welcome
exactly.
yet.
Exactly. Eating right, exercise, close interpersonal relationships. You mentioned your grandchildren. That's so
Mhm.
important. Like you said, you don't need a psychologist. You just need a friend
No.
you can talk to, or a daughter, or a son, or somebody close to you, because you need to share your experiences. You need to share your life. I think it's also important. You said, like, don't lift that box. My best
Mhm.
buddy is a physician, and he always says, once you're over 60, you don't climb ladders anymore. Just the consequences of falling off that ladder are too great.
Right.
So you have to realize your limitations. If you're 20 and you fall 10 feet, it's one
Oh,
thing. If you're 60, it's another. If it's 70, it's another, and
right.
so on. So this is all great practical advice. Why did you decide to write the book?
Well, it was a selfish motivation, actually. I'm a information hogger, let's say, a hoarder. Not hoarder. I don't keep it to myself, but I love it, and I'm addicted to it. So I'm about 68, looking about this time last year, and I'm looking at 69, and I see this thing about everybody drops dead after 70. So since COVID, in other words, the li- life expectancy dropped. Well, that's expected, right? Because it is an average of averages, and but it didn't go back up.
Right.
And what I learned from COVID was that I had to have hydrogen peroxide.
Mm.
Simple stuff, Bengay, aspirin, you know, these
Mm.
simple, non-addictive, don't complicate your other medication stuff.
Yep.
You know, alcohol, and just keep that in the house and use your common sense.
Right.
Because you have to go out there and sit with a mask with people that are sick or they wouldn't be there. So, in other words, we have to become a little more self-reliant
Exactly. Exactly.
and have to, and that makes us responsible. So I called it longevity tips because you won't do everything. Even I don't do everything.
Hmm.
Okay. But if I have it in front of me, now there's some things that are automatic, like my leg stretching and stuff, because that's my automatic go-to. I know that cures me, so I do it. Now
Right.
it doesn't take me 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And after a while working through it, you'll learn your own things. You could pick the ones that work for you. Why not? That's that,
Exactly.
you know.
Like
And
you said, like you said, it's the Betty Crocker cookbook. Have it there, pick out what works for you, find the recipe for your good health. The name of the
right.
book is Longevity Tips for Seniors, Simple Strategies to Improve Health, Nutrition, and Increase Mobility. It is written by Joanne Carter. She is a super ager. She's doing great, looking great, and keeping very active and taking on a new chapter in her life by writing this book. It's a book that will benefit people who are seniors or will one day hope to be seniors. So that's just about everybody. Joanne, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you as well. And
My
you have a
pleasure.
blessed day.
It was good
That's for sure.
speaking with you. Thank you.
Same
And
here.
to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.